I'll try.
Spectrum's not plugged in.
Go on.
Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't know if we would go or whether you were practicing. Okay. Hello and welcome to In the Corner of the Wenton King. This week we're reviewing Axis Bold as Love by What's His Face.
Is that it? Yeah. Hello! Wenton King. Okay, there we go. There's the album.
Axis Bold as Love by What's His Face.
That guy, do you remember him? He's quite good. He's well known. Jane.
John Hanson. No. But is that cover supposed to be like that, Kev, or is have you put the insert in at 90 degrees?
This is one of them. That's where Steve Vai got the idea from, most definitely. Yeah, that is absolute. It's funny how it took me a while to decide, thinking about what to say, but yeah, that's a terrible cover, actually. He hated it as well, so before you say, oh, how dare you, if you meditate, you'll see the truth that Hendrix is actually Vishnu.
Well, why did he give it the go-ahead then, if he hated it?
He didn't. This is really where he was taking control of this album, so, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see what I've said. I've said some things. Okay. This is the middle one, obviously, of the trio, although he released 4 albums, nearly recorded another one. There is a trio, obviously, Hendrix Experience albums, and this is, it's always the middle of the 3. So it's kind of the Empire Strikes Back for some people. It's certainly it's the fans one. I'm not those people, so I like the next one. But I do still like this. But this is the purest of Hendrixing. This is you want to know really was Jimi Hendrix, what is the Hendrixness is on there more than anything else. And it really it's the first proper album, because this time we got to make an album rather than just record the songs. And remember, this is back in the day when there was only just such a thing as an album. It was record the songs for the LP. And that was certainly what I experienced. I think it's a collection of those songs. It's not really an album, and the fact that the tracklist changed, certainly suggests that. And having said all that, it's only a few months later. In 60s style, everything happened very quickly. Things changed. The world was changing. The world is changing. So it's almost that Beatlesiness where. It's only a few months later, and he's a grown up now. He knows what he's doing, and he's in control. It is one of those ones he didn't actually pick up a lot of it to play live, which is probably just because they were so busy and they were playing the same songs, kind of thing, rather than it being not playable or something. It's perfectly playable. So what do I mean by the purest of Hendrixing? It is the Hendrix of Hendrix. Obviously, it's about the guitar, those little arpeggioic flourishes, the little things, the sliding chords. That's the Hendrixing. That's his thing, It's something that only sounds right on an electric guitar. This is where people were figuring out the potential of the electric guitar really for the first time. It was slowly happening in the 60s, little plinky noises on electric guitars were very nice. But, it turned out you could do this, and you can't do that on an acoustic guitar. It is all over this album. He's doing it the whole time. There's no boring riffs. Sorry, very good riffs, but there's no just riffs. This is the Hendrix thing, and it's great. Previous album it wasn't there, as I said. But we know that. Obviously, we all know that. What people don't talk about, actually, one, his voice is fantastic. I really like Hendrix's voice. I think he's got a great voice, and he was very self-conscious about it. He didn't recognise that at all. And also the songs. They're really good songs. And the soulful R&B-ness of the songs. You've got ESP, feedback and noise, and then Up From the Skies is a funky little. It's groovy and and soulful and R&B and all that stuff as well. So yeah, it's great. There you go, Sam. I'm going to pass you the album now.
Thanks very much, Kev. Don't know what to say, really. A very difficult one for me to form an opinion on. Because, I mean, I presume when listening to this, what I'm listening for is the guitaring.
Yeah.
I suggest, because he's famous for being like an awesome guitarist. So what I'm actually listening for is some awesome sort of guitar licks that, you know, just blow you away. And it's not that really, is it? It's, as you say, it's his sound and his use of the guitar in ways that haven't been used before, which only work on the electric guitar. And that sort of paves the way for the 70s, essentially.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the influence of Hendrix is probably bigger than the songs on this album.
Yeah, it's the general sound of it and what he's doing.
Yeah. As you say, his vocals, I really like his vocals. That obviously he's come from America as a, you know, performer for hire, essentially, and he's bringing that sort of soulful, bluesy quality with it, which has sort of like an authenticity to it. And because he's not probably so confident with his vocals, there's you know, he's working on intuition, which makes it feel very, very natural, and it's sort of pushing that sort of rock or popular music towards that classic rock sort of vocal sound. The great vocalists all have that sort of great naturalness to them, rather than sort of like a very disciplined, learned approach that you get from like a classical singer. They just seem to find something which has great personality and stuff like that. Probably because they're very, very... How old is Hendrix at this point?
25?
He's still quite young.
Yeah.
Because that's probably... I mean, that's the reason why so many artists are probably, you know, quite young, is because it takes a lot of determination to get into the music industry, and you have to live like a pauper for a long time.
Yes.
Which you might be able to do when you're younger.
Yeah.
Also, I would guess music executives, like young people, are a little bit naive.
Yeah, they're still coming out of that, obviously. It was only early 60s. It was still the you know, exploited 16-year-olds in suits.
Yeah. But they haven't quite perfected their craft yet. So they're working a lot on their natural abilities, which tends to give the music quite an individual sound. Whereas someone who's probably played a lot of music and stuff like that, you know, they're going to use that craft to sort of protect themselves, if you know what I mean. Rely on the craft rather than creativity and intuition.
Yes.
And
play it safe. Yeah.
Yeah, and what we've got here is sort of like that great meeting point where someone's intuiting their way into the music, but yet has good craft. You know, they're good musicians and able to perform well, you know, on demand. So this is sort of like psychedelia. I mean, Jimi Hendrix is known for his psychedelia in parts, and it's all over this album. Crazy recording, reverse guitars and stuff like that. And 1967, and it might be strange to say it, but I mean, right at the moment, it's quite easy to produce something that's quite psychedelic. You can just put a sound through a few filters, and it'll be like, oh, that's interesting. Whack that in there.
Like Pink Floyd.
Yeah, like Pink Floyd. Actually, 1967 it's probably quite difficult, you know, and you've got to be quite tasteful over it because it's quite new. And you know, you want radio play, and if you're too out there, you're not going to get it, and it could sound, you know, pretty. You've got to be out there, really good.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I mean, and
it is really good. It's barely noticeable in places. You suddenly say, actually, that's quite weird, and at the time that was probably, you know, it was revolutionary.
Yeah. But that's the thing, he invented so much on it, you know.
Well, you look at sort of like Piper at the Gates of Dawn, the psychedelia in there, which is sort of like the childishness and stuff. It gets so tiring by the end of the album.
Bink.
It's sort of okay, but it's really tastefully done. It's all over the album, and yet he's
in control of it, and he knows what he's doing.
It's not apart from the first track, obviously, which is just like pure woo.
Yeah, that juxtaposition with the first two tracks is just great. It's such a good idea.
Sgt. Pepper's, you know, there was a lot of ordinary Beatles songs on there, as well as the crazy stuff.
Yeah.
They had to sort of meter it out, but this is sort of like embedded in the music almost. I think Muddy Waters did an album called Electric Mud, which was bluesy type stuff, and this actually reminded me of that a little bit, but better.
Right.
So Electric Mud was sort of like trying to get Muddy Waters to break into something else, but this is a much better version of that, if you know what I mean. It's more rocky. It's more. There's more personality about it, basically, and it's not just the guitars that are good on it. I mean, I think the rhythm section gets a little bit of criticism in some quarters, but I mean, actually, quite like Little Miss Loner, you know, starts quite nice drum rhythm. I mean, it's the drumming that I remember from that song, even though it's got the weird phasey vocals on it. It's sort of like the drumming I get from it and the bass. So I mean, it's a pretty well-rounded album in all.
Well, yeah, exactly. In a sense, the perfect album. It is one of them. I think it's very well-rounded and perfectly made, and it's one of those. I think.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it was a later development, but it's still sort of it's 13 tracks, isn't it? It's 2 minute, 3 minute songs.
Yeah.
I probably would have liked something a little, you know, it needs an epic, basically. That would have been,
I suppose Boulder's Love is supposed to, but it's not really that kind of thing, really, is it? That's more of an R&B thing. Little Miss Lover, actually, it's like a drunk immigrant song. Because it's Mitch Mitchell as well, so he's much more loose.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's much better than Immigrant Song, I think. I'm not a massive fan of Immigrant Song. There's a lot more going on. I mean, that's almost a filler compared to some of the other stuff. I mean, as I've said, I'm not a fan of Mitch Mitchell. You know, particularly on all those live recordings, which most of them were quite late. I know he was stoned, to be fair, but yeah, he's very loose. He's not a jazz drummer. That's not what jazz drumming is, for God's sake. But here on this album, you know, it's brilliant. You know, there's a certain synchronization here of the planets aligning or whatever, and that happens on this album where it all just worked perfectly. And for some people, they want the anthems, they want the famous songs and the bigger songs, but this is where he's doing his thing perfectly, I think. Apparently he wasn't happy with the mix or something, and they had to rush a new mix.
Well, I mean, Little Wing's a big song, isn't it?
It's a massive song, yeah.
It's awesome.
It is awesome, yeah. I mean, actually, that stuff, he's doing that through the whole album, almost.
Yeah.
But Little Wing is the famous, and it's such a great little song, and it's so short. It's amazing. It's over, and you have to put it on twice. But yeah, like I said, he's more creative control here. That's the thing with Are You Experienced? I suspect Chas Chandler had a lot of say.
Well, I think they're under a lot of pressure to get an album out, weren't they? To get some money coming in.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Just record the stuff. Do what I say. Let's do it. Here, he's saying, actually, no, I don't want to do that. I want the stereo to be panning and going woo woo. And Chas Chandler was in the Animals. He's not going to understand that, is he? And he was wrong. Of course, he was wrong. We know now. You know, Jimi was right. But I mean, the band broke up. As Fripp would say, this is where the band broke up, although they made another album and kept touring. Because obviously you've got Noel Redding, who thinks he's the leader of the band or something as well, even though he's in a band with Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah.
And he has a song, it's alright. It is notably, you know, a pop song of the time. Obviously all of it's poppy, but when it's Hendrix, that's different, you know. So his song always stands out as a bit. So the band broke up. Yeah, we talked about the cover, didn't we? Is it cultural appropriation? Is that what cultural appropriation is? I don't even know what that is.
It kind of reminded me of a 70s kung fu movie for some reason.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Like a Bruce Lee thing.
Yeah, you've got the thingy effect, I can't remember what it's called. Quantel or something, where they do... Yeah, but it's... No, actually, if you meditate, you will see the truth. It's gone mad. Yeah, he left the mix of side one, maybe, in a taxi. Like, not long before it was released, it was going to be released. So they had to do it again quick, and he wasn't happy or something. Castles Made of Sand. We haven't mentioned Castle Made of Sand. We haven't mentioned Spanish Castle Magic either. Or wait until tomorrow. If 6 was 9. These are great songs.
Yeah.
Spanish Castle Magic is a big live thing. Obviously Little Wing. 6 Was Nine's a great song. Castles Made of Sand I really like, although I prefer Burning of the Midnight Lamp. And actually, he did start writing that one in this era, but didn't finish it until the next one. But I prefer that one. And it's very similar to Castles Made of Sand. It's like Castles Made of Sand 2. So yeah, I think it is 5 eggs. It's weird how it's not something I go back to very much.
Yeah,
in my head it was a 4-egg album. It probably is 5. Actually, if I'm trying to be, it's the nonsense thing of although my opinion says it's this, in the real egg of this is 5 eggs.
Well, that's the problem is there is plenty that is praiseworthy about this album, but praiseworthy doesn't normally make it into your playlist.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yeah, and it's all stuff. It's with lots of innovation on there that we take for granted because everyone's copied it.
Yeah, Little Wing's obviously a great song. I'm getting the big sense here that basically the way to listen to Hendrix is on a compilation CD.
Probably,
with the best songs.
Yeah. So So we'll be back. Batteries run out with the next one. Thank you very much. See you in a bit.